You're ready to begin to envision what family faith formation is going to look like at your parish. But you're asking yourself, where do we start? Initial planning should include carefully studying your parish calendar, looking at the kind of usable meeting space you have available for programming, and making sure you understand the activity schedules of your parish family outside of church life. Knowing all of these details are going to help you to consider how to best structure programming. You're going to be looking at how long you're going to meet for and how often. Is there space in your parish grounds? Which months of the year will you meet? Are weekends or weeknights better? What is the format of your program going to be like? How about your numbers? How many people can your building hold at a time? How many can each room accommodate? How many participants will you be serving? And how many volunteers will you need? How will all of this impact parish life? Well, I'm going to start at a spot you might not have expected me to. Let's look at food. Food is extremely important. It can be a logistical headache for sure. I was blessed with a volunteer who was willing to coordinate this for me during all 11 years of our program. This was huge. I don't know what I would have done without Carol. But regardless of the time, expense, and manpower that is required, I can't suggest strongly enough for you to somehow figure out how to include food in every event that you have for these reasons. It helps families to more easily attend your program. They're not worrying about how they're going to get dinner into everybody before they come to your event. It's one less excuse for them to be late. It allows you to extend your time a bit because you won't be competing with grumbling stomachs. Most importantly, it's an opportunity for fellowship and connection building among families. The rest of your program lends itself to strengthening the family. But this part of the program particularly can really strengthen your parish family as a whole. Your families will get to know one another, get comfortable with one another, and the fellowship among them will really boost your program as well as strengthen your parish. The next part of the planning piece is perhaps one of the biggest. We're going to be looking next at program structure. We used a few different program parts in different combinations each month in order to meet our faith formation goals. We used large group presentations. We sometimes had age level breakout sessions. We worked in smaller table groups, offered families time to share, always included prayer. Sometimes we had learning stations. Within each of these modes, groupings of interactions for our families, we employed different methods and techniques to keep our lessons effective, interactive, and engaging. Some of the things we did within our programming included slideshow presentations, maybe a PowerPoint, maybe a Prezi, other kinds of visual videos and such. We had prayer experiences. We played games. This was a game show. We had small group discussions. We wrote poems and did artwork. We pieced together puzzles. We interacted with materials during learning stations. Here we're putting together our morality tree out of a giant PVC pipe. We used puppet shows and skits and did things that contributed to the life of our parish community. And we also engaged in outreach projects. Everybody really liked that. That was always a huge hit with our families. Our families are working together, and here's a closing session that we did looking at the liturgical year. A few things to note here. We intentionally kept the use of worksheets to a minimum. We did this in order to make our time with our families not feel like an extension of the work or school day. We also took care to use arts and crafts time sparingly, as they can be a huge time suck and take away from the important information that needed to be conveyed. And because our time with our families is so limited, we wanted each minute to be packed with meaning and void of a lot of irrelevant filler. So even when we did arts and crafts, we tried to incorporate meaning into each of the aspects of whatever it is we were putting together. Finally, you hopefully noted when I was listing different types of activities that we used in our programming that they were varied. This was very intentional. Everyone learns differently, so we made sure to offer something that appealed to each of the learning styles every time we met. The learning styles are visual, where people take in information with their eyes. They really connect to pictures and visual things. Auditory, we have some listeners in every room. Verbal, we have people who love the words, who love to hear the words and use the words and read the words. There are logical thinkers in the room. There are people who respond to music. There are the people who need to be hands-on and getting their bodies into the learning experience. There are people that work well in groups and people who need time to just process things on their own. So in simple terms, we tried to use pictures and words, music. We wrote things down, we said them out loud. We provided opportunities to problem solve and to get up and move around, and we offered times to work in groups as well as time for personal reflection. Varying how we did things allowed us to most effectively present different ideas and concepts to our families. Mixing things up also kept it fresh. We used different techniques and room layouts to minimize distracting behaviors. Figuring all of this out every month was a very much learn-as-you-go part of our planning process. We continually tweaked things so that they would work better the next time. Our commitment to this process meant that our program was able to evolve, grow, and flourish in a consistent and healthy way from year to year. The result was a growing program, a stronger program, a growing and stronger parish, which all ultimately serves to grow and strengthen the church at large. This is a big undertaking, my friends, but family faith formation is worth all of the effort. God bless you and your ministry.